This video is going to talk about some database operations we can do in Visual Basic with an existing tutorial from the textbook. The solution is going to include several projects. I'm just going to get rid of those for the sake of clarity. We're going to take a look at the main form here and make sure the program runs to begin with. And the main area we're going to be looking at is the view form for these appointments, which are being pulled from a database. You see there's a drop-down box where we can choose an individual customer and then just see the appointments for that customer. So what we want to do is add another drop-down box so that we can choose just appointments for a certain appointment type. Another drop-down box. So I'm going to select these two controls, and I'm holding down the control button as I click them, and then Control C to copy, and we're going to right click and paste. And I just caught the label, so you can also use that drop down to add a control that way, copying and pasting or adding through the drop down. So this is going to be our repair type. So perhaps a certain technician only does certain types of repairs. This way they can look at only the appointments that are relevant to them. We give it a standard prefix CBO, repair type. And we want to populate it similar to the way we're populating this customer drop-down box. So let's try to figure out how that's being done. Important thing to know is we've got these classes, we've got these objects being created, and here is the event in the form load where that combo box is being populated. So we're just going to copy that, change which combo box we're working with to the repair types combo box, and we want to change the data source. Alright, this data source is coming from mCustomers, which is an object created from the customers table. This is using the link to SQL tables. So the database table, which is available through Server Explorer here, the data in the table is being relayed to a class. This is an older version of a SQL database, so I'm going to update it as it shows here. It's still a SQL Server database file, but when you click OK, it asks if you want to upgrade it, and I'll say yes to get it working with my latest version of Visual Studio and SQL Server. Alright, so these are the tables. We've got an appointments table, customers table, and repair types. So this is where the data was being pulled from to populate that combo box, and this is a table we want to use for this new combo box. So I'm going to create a new instance of the repair types table, which has also been created earlier in the tutorial that was provided. I've got another video that shows how to create these types of classes. But here with this combo box, we're going to change the data source to be repair types. The display member is going to be what is shown, and we want to show the description. But the value member is going to be what gets passed on when when something is chosen from the combo box. And we're going to pass along type ID because we can use that in other situations. So let's just make sure that this combo box is working as it should. And sure enough, we are seeing descriptions of repair types. Alright, if I chose one of them, it still wouldn't do anything because I didn't create an event handler for the selected index changed as exists for the CBO customers. So I'm going to choose that. Now if I had just double clicked on the combo box, it would have created this selected index changed, and that is not what we want. We want well, it might have created what we wanted, but the better way to do it is by choosing exactly what we need. Alright, so we want to change where we're getting the value from that we're using. This is going to be we're trying to get a short. Basically, we're trying to get an integer value. It's going to be our ID. And then we're going to change the data source based on that ID that we get. So the first line, the dim customer ID, we're going to change that to be the repair ID. And we're going to use that. And let's figure out how this get by customer ID is working. Look at the appointments class. And here is a function or a method within the class. Get by customer ID. We're creating a table, a data table, from our data source and filtering it. So that's what we want to replicate. We'll take a closer look at that again. But we want to use the repair ID. We can call this whatever we want. This is a new variable we're creating in here. And that is the argument we want to pass to this get by repair table. And so instead of get by customer ID, we're going to copy that within the appointments class, create a new method called get by repair type or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to receive an argument, create a parameter variable called rep ID or whatever. And this is going to change the data table that is shown in our data grid view. We want to filter it based on the type ID. And we're trying to run it, we get an error, we can double click on the error. We don't, that is not a member of the repair types class or object. So we actually do want to work in the same object we were working with here, the appointments class, the appointments object. That's what we created get by repair type. We're not changing anything about the repair types. We're changing to show certain appointments related to those. So now if I view those appointments, look at all of them, look at repair types, the data source changes and I only see the relevant appointments.